It's now just under half an hour before kick-off. The Wellington weather not as ferocious as was feared yesterday. The forecast remains for moderate southerlies and light rain.
Picked Black Arrow to run third at $4.90, and if you'd done all of those things, then you would have reaped 11,892.95 in the treble. But if you'd been satisfied with the first two and merely taken a quinella, they would have returned you $364.85 for your dollar.
There we are. That wraps up our coverage from Riccarton this afternoon. The Great National meeting here. It's been held in somewhat dismal conditions, but time now for the rest of you to tuck up, get warm, and ready for the rugby. Good afternoon to Riccarton.
Thank you, John. It's now just under half an hour before kick-off. The Wellington weather not as ferocious as was feared yesterday. The forecast remains for moderate southerlies and light rain, which should ease. It's an important match for both sides. David Kirk was interviewed yesterday. He said this could be the making or breaking of many an international career, so there's plenty of motivation. To take us up to the 3 o'clock kick-off, we have pre-match comment and predictions, and an update now from Mark Leishman.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, as you can see, I'm well and truly wrapped up. I look as though I should be somewhere in East Siberia, but in fact I'm here at Athletic Park. The weather is deteriorating somewhat. There's a fair amount of rain coming in from the south. It's a misty sort of rain. I don't think it will affect conditions too much. Hopefully it won't affect the ground conditions. Looking at the wind, the flags are flying there, and it gives you a fair indication that there's a fairly strong southerly breeze coming in. And there are the Australian team, at least, in a circle doing their warm-up exercises with the master in the middle, the great motivator, the coach. Alan Jones just walking. He's been doing this for about the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes, just walking around, talking to his team. Former speechwriter, of course, for Malcolm Fraser, a great motivational expert and coach of the Australian side. But the conditions not so great at the moment. It's not a heavy rain, and it seems to come and go. 1 minute it's not bucketing down, but very misty. Right now it's time to have a look as the teams line up for today's match, which is due to kick off in about half an hour's time. And we'll have a look now at the lineup of the All Black team.
21-year-old Greg Cooper wears the All Black jersey for the second time this afternoon. Cooper scored 8 points in his Test debut against France. 23-year-old Auckland accountant Terry Wright plays on the left wing. Today is his second Test match. The most experienced back in the All Black team is right winger John Kerwin. Today he plays his 9th Test match. Big Joe Stanley from the Ponsonby Club in Auckland plays at centre in jersey number 13. He's another playing in his second Test. Jersey number 12 will be worn by Bay of Plenty's Arthur Stone. Since his Test debut in 1981, he's played in 5 internationals. North Harbour's first Test player, Frano Bottiga, plays at first 5'8". He equalled Doug Bruce's New Zealand record of 2 drop goals in a Test in the French International at Christchurch. The team captain is number 9, Dr. David Kirk. The 25-year-old from Auckland today plays his 6th Test match. Into the forward pack now, number 8 is Otago University's Mike Brewer, the man who scored a try in his Test debut against France. The number 7 jersey will be worn by Auckland's Mark Brooke-Cowden. The 23-year-old bank officer is another All Black from the Ponsonby Club. The man on the other side of the scrum is number 6 Andy Earle from Canterbury. He played his first Test match in Christchurch at Lock. Today sees the Test debut of number 4 Brent Anderson from Wairarapa Bush. The 26-year-old schoolteacher comes into the side through the withdrawal of Brett Harvey. To the front row now, and on the tight head side of the scrum will be number 3 Kevin Borovich. He made his debut for New Zealand in 1983 and today is his second Test match. At loose head prop is Wellington's Brian McGrattan. He's New Zealand's most experienced forward and today plays his 6th Test. And in jersey number 2 is Auckland's Sean Fitzpatrick. A late inclusion for the Test against France, the Auckland University man is playing his 2nd Test. Another newcomer on the All Black side is number 5 Michael Spate from North Auckland. Spate is a late replacement for the injured Gordon McPherson.
So there we are. That's the new look All Black side with 1 success under their belt against France in the recent weeks. And of course up against a very, very experienced Australian side. Let's have a look at their number.
The brilliant David Campisi wears the number 15 jersey for Australia. Although only 22 years of age, Campisi today plays his 25th Test match. On the left wing is number 11 Matt Burke. The Sydney sider is still only 21, but today is his 12th Test. The veteran Peter Grigg plays on the right wing in jersey number 14. The man from Townsville is playing in his 19th Test match. The team captain, Andrew Slack, plays at centre. The only survivor from the 1978 Test match in Wellington is today playing his 30th Test. The exciting Brett Papworth plays at second 5/8 in jersey number 12. Today is his 6th Test match. In number 10, Michael Liner, the Australians have a proven match winner at first 5/8. The prolific point scorer is playing in his 13th Test. Sydney solicitor Nick Farr-Jones is the Australian halfback. The 24-year-old is playing in his 14th Test match. The number 8 forward is Sydney's Ross Reynolds. Reynolds played in this position against the All Blacks in 1984, and today he plays his 9th Test. The number 7 jersey will be worn by Big Steve Tyneman, a regular number 8 forward in recent times. Tyneman today plays in his 16th Test match. Australia's most experienced forward is number 6 Simon Poidevin. The man who captained his country against Argentina today plays his 38th Test match. Now the tall men, starting with number 4 Steve Cutler, known as Skylab. The Sydney sider is today playing in his 15th Test. Even taller than Cutler is number 5 Bill Campbell. The huge Queenslander today plays his 3rd Test match. Into the front row, and the only new cap is Sydney's Mark Hartill in the number 3 jersey. Hartill is a clubmate of Steve Cutler. Number 1 is the strong man, Enrique Rodriguez. This remarkable player has appeared in 15 Test matches for Argentina, and today is his 17th for Australia. In the middle of the front row is number 2 Tom Lawton. He today plays in his 19th Test match.
So there we are, that's the two teams as they face up in 25 minutes' time. The first Test, Australia versus New Zealand. Part of the Australian contingent in New Zealand is the ABC commentary team. And I spoke with Gordon Bray and Mark Ella before. Gordon Bray, what is the feeling in the Australian camp?
Well, it's pretty good at the moment, Mark. I think they're itching to get out there. They've had a fairly low-key build-up to this Test match, I believe, with 4 wins and a draw, and a lot of New Zealanders feel their form hasn't been impressive. But this is the first time we've seen the Australian Test team out there. It's been a long season for them. The South Pacific Championship started back in March, so they've really had to reach several highs during this season. But they're on a high here today. The preparation's been done. As Alan Jones says, the homework's been done. Now it's time for the exam, and the Australians are confident they can pass with flying colours.
Gordon, Mark Ella, you were here last time the Australians had the victory over the All Blacks in '82. How do you think the conditions are going to play a part today?
Well, obviously the wind at Athletic Park always plays a big role in the game, and particularly for that team that happens to win the toss, and it's vital that for Australia's sake that we win it and run with the win and try and score as many points in the first half as possible.
Last time, of course, the All Blacks were a different side to the side they're meeting today. Much more youthful side, less experienced. Is that going to play a big part?
Well, it'll play a big part as Australia will try and take on New Zealand, particularly in the forwards, and use their experience and try and keep the game nice and tight and control it from the outset. But I must admit, in 1982, we were in much the same position as New Zealand are in now. Very inexperienced, very young side, but a side willing to have a go. And I think New Zealand really try and throw that ball around. They've got nothing to lose and really try and win today.
Mark Ella, in a word, who's it going to be?
Well, I'm a little bit biased, I must admit. I think Australia will do it, and I think they'll do it comfortably.
Gordon Bray, a successful season for the Australians, wins over Argentina and France. Up against this new-look All Black side, who do you think is going to win?
Well, I think the All Blacks will be very committed, but I don't think they have the firepower up front. Australia are 129 Test caps in the forward pack, New Zealand only 10, and I think Australia can control possession despite the windy conditions here, and I think Australia will emerge good winners.
So that's Gordon Bray commentating the game for the ABC this afternoon. Well, the weather is still holding in the air at the moment. There's a wee bit of rain, a bit of moisture in the air, but hopefully it'll hold off for the next at least hour and a half. And there's the City of Wellington pipe band as they go through their paces on the field, hopefully not churning up the track too much. And if you see behind them are the 16 flags of the countries representing, or being represented at the World Rugby Cup of next year. All 16 teams represented by a local primary school in Wellington. And there we have the Millard stand, very exposed upper section of the stand. It'll be fairly chilly there this afternoon, but it's filling up quite rapidly. Underneath there, it's just about, I suppose, 3/4 full. So looking for a big crowd here this afternoon. I think the weather hasn't put too many people off. As you can see by the sky in the background, it's pretty murky. That is that misty rain. but the amazing thing is the condition of the park itself. There's just, it's quite firm, a few greasy patches, but it's generally in fine form. Well, we'll be back after this break with Norm Wilson and Earl Curtin.
The daring and the caring, winners and losers. What happened, how it happened. The Sunday News. We've got the stories New Zealand wants to read.
Nissan Wide Track Bluebird. Drive the new dimension.
If you're serious about boating, power or sail, the biggest range of marine products ever seen in New Zealand will be here, IMTEC, the International Marine Trade Exhibition.
He's your mobile man. He's your mobile man.
Would you believe that when you take home your own oil, there's a chance that it could have been taken home before? That's because some cheap take-home oils are what they call re-refined. But not this one. Not heavy-duty Mobil 3040. 4 litres of brand new heavy-duty motor oil, and right now for just $9.45. That's not much more than the used stuff.
He's your mobile man.
See this? It's a crinkle-cut chip. As far as I'm concerned, it's history. Because Eater have come up with something twice as good. Eater Big Taste Ripples chips with double the ripples but double the flavour. Double ripple plain, double salt and vinegar, double chicken, double cheese and onion. You could always tell an Eater chip from an ordinary chip because
the big taste always gets through.
You'd love one, wouldn't you? Only from Eater.
Markline Cruises, Australasia's largest manufacturer of luxury powercraft, offer a special Markline finance package starting from a low 12.9%. Yes, from as low as 12.9%, we can finance you into a new Markline Cruiser. So if you're thinking of buying a new launch, contact Markline now at Bayswater Marine, Bayswater Wharf on Auckland's North Shore. Phone Auckland 456 735. Offer closes on August the 25th, or while stocks last.
Introducing the remarkable Chef Pack double-ended bench grinder. Everyone can use one, and at only $99.50, every home should have one. You'll sharpen implements and tools just like a professional. Drill bits, mower blades, scissors, garden shears, chisels, and much more. With the Chef Pack, you can say goodbye to blunt tools. Only $99.50 for this rugged top-quality machine by Chef Pack. Just right for the daily grind. Available from Chef Pack Machinery, Schroff & Sons, and all branches of Carter Holt, Hammer Hardware, and Winstones.
Hi, I'm Richard Hadley. I'd just like to wish the All Blacks all the very best against Australia in the forthcoming Test match. You did well against France. Let's hope you can do it against Aussie this time. Remember, the cricketers did well just recently. Good luck. Let's make sure we have a good win.
Well, the man in white who's had an amazing test series and great figures overnight as well, even having a good knot with the bat. Well, coming up now, we're going to have a chat with one of the commentators for Radio New Zealand this afternoon. I spoke with Graham Williams earlier. Graham Williams, what are your impressions of the weather, the track today?
Well, it's rather disappointing that the weather is like this, but I tend to think that the advantage is going to go a little bit the Australians' way today, because with a big heavy forward pack, and if they do it right, it's going to could make it pretty hard for the All Blacks.
You're certainly well dressed for the occasion with the big swan dry on.
Well, certainly. After sitting up here last weekend for the Jubilee Cup final, I decided that no way am I coming up here to freeze again.
Now, if the ball gets a wee bit greasy, who is that going to favour, do you think?
Well, I think the All Blacks, obviously it's going to be the side once again that plays with the most discipline into the wind, and what you do with the ball is going to be vitally important. I think the All Blacks will probably find it a little bit hard in the forward exchanges early in the game, but from that, I think once again it depends on how well Michael Lynagh plays, because I think he's a kingpin in the Australian side, and if we can give him a lot of bad ball and upset him a little bit, I think the All Blacks are in with a really good show.
Graham, who do you think will win?
Well, I've got to say the All Blacks, because I think The conditions, the way games have been played in the first 2 or 3 Australian matches have been a little bit difficult for the Australians, but I hope that the All Blacks adjust the conditions, and of course I hope they have a good win.
And Graham Williams there helping commentary with John Macbeth this afternoon for Radio New Zealand. Well, familiar figures before any Test match and after are Norm Wilson and Earl Curtin. Norm, how do you think the conditions are going to play their part today?
Well, they're surprisingly good, bleak and all as it still is, and cold. And we've got this old Wellington southerly sweeping down the park. Nevertheless, the ground out there is amazingly good. I had expected it to be sloshy and a bit slimy and so on, but it really is not. And the backs, let alone the forwards, will be able to get quite a reasonable footing out there. The wind, I think, will be much more difficult to handle than the actual ground conditions.
We're so used to conditions like this in Wellington, aren't they? For Test matches, particularly, it seems.
Yes, and they can be critical, though, as was seen, in fact, on this very ground last week when Petone tipped Maris and Pats out of the favoured position for the Jubilee Cup, and the wind was really the factor. In fact, last week I thought to myself, now Campese, in these conditions, will punt the ball the length of the ground. So I'm predicting he will be capable of doing that again here today.
Now, you arrived at the park today and you had a yellow and green scarf on. Is that some sort of omen?
No, it was a sheer accident. It's an old scarf. It's a grotty old thing. But if you're going to ask us later, you can take it as an omen.
So, Earl, you think he's provocative?
Well, he was obviously being provocative, yes, but...
What are your opinions?
Well, I think that it'll be... I think New Zealand will go a lot better than everyone expects them to go, provided that they play very close to the touchline if they're playing into the wind, and then I think you've got to play it down the middle, and I think this is where Maris and Pats made a big mistake against Petone last week. It really does require a wee bit of local knowledge to play this wind, because you become expert at it, both kicking into it and also the way you use it. And you must use the blind. They've got to use Bodeker and they've got to use Kerwin on that right-hand side on the blind. And with international law now, where you're putting it in all the time from basically the left-hand side of the scrum, it's going to favour Kerwin on his side, and I think he'll give him hell on that blind side, and so he should.
Are you predicting the All Blacks will throw it wide?
No, I don't think they will. I think they'll put it wide only in the second half if they've got any sense, and they'll make Stanley come back into the middle, and that'll basically be it. But the thing that, and he'll create the rucks midfield, and they should run off those. But basically, I think that to kick it and kick and kick and kick it all away is a wasted ball too. It's really quite a peculiar win, this Wellington deal. The other thing is, I think one must have a look for what I call the games within games. I think, it'll be marvellous battle up front with the Stoner man later. For New Zealand, that is, and to see how well my 2 Wellington men cope with it. There's a very brave guys. I don't know whether having that lack of weight is going to make a big difference in scrums. But scrums really don't really win your test. It's line-outs and tidying up that's going to win the test.
Brian Lahore mentioned yesterday a certain lack of confidence he felt in the All Black side. Do you think that's going to be a problem?
Oh, I think it could be, without diminishing their effort against the French in any way at all, because their effort was marvellous effort. It nevertheless was a sadly over-the-hill French side, and they're not playing that sort of a side today. The Aussie side's got everything in front of them. A wonderful opportunity this year to win the Bledisloe Cup again here in New Zealand, which they haven't done for, I think, since 1949. And they're very conscious of that, I know, and Alan Jones has already told us enough to let us know they're conscious of that. If ever they're going to do it, they're going to do it this year. And they have to set the main here today. And they've got a wonderful opportunity. I'm so pleased to hear you, Earl, say about the blind side. That will be critical here today, which leads me to say that the critical position out on the paddock today is going to be half-back.
That's it. David Kirk, I think, to get into the real top class of New Zealand halfbacks, has to play a wee bit steadier than he's played in the last couple of games. Terribly important for him to relax a bit, because he's going to have a wee man outside him who's a runner, and just knowing the temperament of first 5/8, he's going to be rather excited about it all. And I hope that he basically settles down very rapidly.
Well, the Westpac rescue helicopter has just arrived on the scene, makes it a bit harder for us to be heard. Norm, it's going to be an interesting position in the locking position for both sides.
Pardon?
Interesting with the locking positions.
Yes, but I've already heard some experts, me and I would regard as experts, give Spate quite a high rating. Of course, the big problem is whether he's fit enough, and in the conditions, today's conditions, will find that out very, very quickly.
Okay, well, thanks to Norm Wilson and Earl Curtin. Well, coming back after the break, we'll have Grant Nisbet and Graham Thorne.
New Zealand challenge for the America's Cup. Every day, ICL measures and analyzes 32 critical areas of performance, comparing today's effort with yesterday's, and setting goals for tomorrow. Providing technology already proven in the competitive business world. Technology that will keep New Zealand out in front. ICL, winning technology.
Moments like these you need Mendy's.
The stage is set for a mighty battle. The earth will shake, the ground will rattle. It's social rugby at its best. Carter Holt plays the rest.
Where's John? Not here yet.
The whistle goes, we find the gap, we win a penalty, take the tap. Carter Holt 14, Builders naught. It ain't easy with a player short.
One short, eh? At least our service is more reliable than your players.
It's okay if I come on now?
Carter Holt. For the trade, or if you're serious about home improvement.
He's not in the trade.
But he is serious. Almost time, Sonia.
Today's the day, Miss Sims.
Ooh, yes.
If you've waited for the day your outdated typewriter is updated, the waiting's over.
Brother.
With Brother, the very latest business technology is at your fingertips at a very competitive price. Brother Business Machines. The time is right to make the right decision.
New Commodore is where you should invest your dollar. Smart new 2-liter Commodore costs less than Telstar GL, Mazda 626, Sigma, Corona, or Accord. The cards also favor Commodore's 3.3-liter luxury models with optional fuel injection. New Commodores, the very affordable Europeans.
If you want to earn high interest and have your savings on call, have an overdraft facility, buy things all over the world, collect your wages, pay your regular bills, be able to get cash 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and receive monthly statements on all your transactions, you're going to need all of these, or just this, countrywide Visa. Much more than just a credit card. It's the one card for all your money needs.
IBM makes big computers for big companies, not so big computers for not so big companies, small computers for small companies, small computers for big companies, not so big computers to help small companies get bigger, and very small computers for very small companies. So, IBM has not so big for small that want to get bigger, small for small, not so big for not so big for big, and very small for all. IBM. We're as big or as small as you need us to be.
The Western Hills surrounding Athletic Park in Wellington, the venue for today's Rugby International between Australia and New Zealand. The wind is coming in from the south off Cook Strait, and it's very, very cold, but thankfully no rain of any consequence in Wellington so far today. There's the Millard stand, perhaps only half full on the top deck, and rather a disappointing crowd, but Athletic Park rather windswept from the south, and by Wellington standards perhaps just a moderate southerly wind blowing, but it certainly will have a big bearing on this afternoon's Bledisloe Cup Test match. The crowd perhaps not as big as one would have expected. I think probably a little over 20,000 people in Athletic Park this afternoon for this most important game. The remarkable thing really, though, is that the ground conditions, considering all the rain in Wellington over the last 2 days, are quite remarkable. It's almost, I think, firm underfoot. There's perhaps a little bit of water lying on in the in-goal area, and there it is, in fact, but that won't have any bearing on the play at all. Athletic Park underfoot really is in very good condition indeed. So we're waiting now the arrival of the two sides on the field. Now let's have a look at the two teams for this afternoon's international.
The All Black side is similar to that which beat France in late June, although the late withdrawals of Brett Harvey and Gordon McPherson have caused changes in the forward pack. In for their first test matches come Brent Anderson and Michael Spate, and for them the task of winning a good share of line-out ball. Number 6, Andy Earle, moves to the side of the scrum, a position he's probably more suited to. The back line remains intact, and much will depend today on number 10, Frano Bottika's ability to cope with the windy conditions here at Athletic Park. The side will be led again by number 9, David Kirk. Just one new cap in the Australian side. In the front row, number 3, Mark Harthill. Apart from that, though, it's all about experience in this Australian lineup. The big danger man is undoubtedly number 15, David Campisi. His ability to counter-attack from fullback must be of concern to the All Blacks. Number 10, Michael Liner, will be relied upon not only to kick the goals, but to direct the match tactically for the tourists. And up front, the whole outcome of the game could be determined by the lock forward Steve Cutler and Bill Campbell. They should gain a lion's share of possession in the lineouts. Number 13, Andrew Slack, captains Australia today for the 12th time in a test match. Well, Graham Thorne, the scene is certainly set here at Athletic Park, and how do you see the game going?
Well, we've heard all the experts, Grant. I always take notice of my stomach, and it's tuning today probably too much. The build-up has worried me a lot. The withdrawal of Harvey, the injury to McPherson, it's just not the way that Brian Lahore would have liked to have a build-up to a test match. And Wellington, I'm afraid to say, has a history of these terrible build-ups. We go back to 71 when Peter Whiting pulled out and he was replaced by Brian Lahore, funny enough now the coach. We go then to 81, the Springboks, when Greg Burgess came in, another pull-out. And then 82 when Osborne pulled out and Mark Taylor came in. There go the Australians. It really worries me, Grant, that these build-ups are not what the All Blacks wanted. And with this win, the great leveler, as I said before, one team could really go mad in this place and win by many points.
Well, the team's on the field. The significant thing is that the Australian side have gone to the southern end of Athletic Park, so it looks very much as though Australia will have the wind in the first half. And this is rather reminiscent of 1982, when it was a very strong northerly wind on that occasion, and Australia ran up a 19-3 lead at halftime. There's David Kirk, a man charged with a big responsibility again this afternoon. 14 there is John Kerwin at least, Frano Bottica, 13 Joe Stanley. There's the Australian lineup as we await now the national anthems. Plenty of atmosphere here at Athletic Park this afternoon. A very, very important game for this young All Black side as they try and rest the first test match. As the referee this afternoon, Derek Bevan of Wales, the 38-year-old from Swansea, controlling his 5th test match this afternoon.
Yes, Grant, you're right about Australia winning the toss, because Greg Cooper's going to kick off into the wind. So Australia took the wind, as most people do now in Wellington, take the wind in the first half. people have sometimes said that the first 20 minutes are all nerves and it doesn't make any difference, but it has made a lot of difference in Wellington over the years.
Reminder, this match coming to you through Television New Zealand in association with the Lion Corporation. There's the new man for the All Blacks, two of them in fact. That was number 5, Michael Spate. The other man new in the All Black jersey is number 4, Brent Anderson. Referee Derek Bevan of Wales signalling time on, and we're away in this Bledisloe Cup test at Athletic Park between Australia and the All Blacks. Nicely tapped back by Mike Brewer for the All Blacks. This is 12 metres in Australia territory. Far Jones to Liner, early lapse from Liner.
And this is what happened in the test against France. The pressure went on from New Zealand in the first 10 minutes and made all the difference at the end of the game.
So the scrum is 2 metres out from the 22. The scrum will be an important facet of the game, as it always is. It's a big Australian scrum, this one. Let's see how the All Blacks hold. There's the big push from the Australians. The All Blacks, though, have control of it. Or the Australians too strong. And the All Blacks took the scrum down. The first penalty goes against New Zealand. And that's an example of the strength of that Australian scrum.
And that's not a good omen at all, the first scrum. And it's a very important one in any match, be it schoolboys or test match. That first scrum, and Australia won handsomely.
Michael Liner with this kick. He's got the strong southerly behind him, remember. Not going to find touch. That's Terry Wright in from the 22. Runs outside the 22 right. Far Jones waiting just on his own side of halfway. Wright missed the first tackle. This is Ross Reynolds up towards the 10-metre line. And finally it's David Kirk with the ball across the touchline.
That was perhaps a demonstration of what the All Blacks are going to do. They're not going to try and kick it out all the time, playing into the wind. They're going to actually run at the Australians and put the little kicks up.
That's the halfway line just to the right, so play is 12 metres in All Black territory. First line out of the match. Cutler tapped it, untidy ball though. Borovic coming through. Andy Earl there as well for the All Blacks. Good start by the All Black forwards. Just out from the 22, Peter Grigg took it in from Australia. Good controlled ruck ball. Back to Campisi. There's a huge kick by Campisi. Again, not finding touch. Cooper in two minds as to whether to run out from the 22. And in the end, he put it across the touchline on the full.
And probably made about the same amount of ground he would have made if he kicked it from the 22. But you can see now that is what Brian Lahorst told him, to run it out.
Another line out wouldn't. No, it's not, as Borovic again comes through on Far Jones. The All Blacks should win this, put into the scrum on their own 10-metre line. Just a couple of minutes gone on the game, still no score, remembering that Australia are playing with this piping southerly behind them in the first half.
It looks like something's happened to Peter Grigg when he took that ball and had come through from that line out with Kevin Borovic, getting a bit of attention from the physiotherapist.
Just picking up one or two of these Australians for you. There's Michael Liner, number 10. Peter Grigg is the man being attended to. Andrew Slack walking towards us there, and to his right is Matthew Burke. Number 12, Brett Papworth. There's the danger man, David Campisi. Scored a try in this test match here in 1982. There's the other new cap in the All Black side, Brent Anderson from Wairarapa Bush. Number 6 is Andy Earl, of course played as a lock in the All Black side against France in late June.
The importance of this test in Australia is quite amazing. Sir Donald Bradman, who I'm sure is not a great rugby fan living in Adelaide, sent a telegram to the Wallabies wishing them the best of luck. We got one from Richard Hadley, of course, Grant.
Peter Grigg still being attended to. Must have had a cut somewhere around the eye. I think he's now got a head bandage on, Peter Grigg. Right, back in action we are. The All Blacks ball, 10-metre line, New Zealand territory. Kevin Borovic on the tight head side here for the All Blacks against Rodriguez. Once again, the scrum goes down. Tremendous pressure on the All Black front row here. Being spun around again by the All Blacks, still trying to control it. There it is for Kirk. He's in a bit of trouble. He gave it to Brooke Cowden. Almost to halfway now. Kirk still waiting for it, and offside against Rodriguez it was. Topo Rodriguez in his 17th Test match for Australia today. Greg Cooper from just inside his own half, and that's a good effort into the strong southerly, taking play down now to within 10 metres of the Australian 22.
And once again, we have that crucial time in a Test match, that first 10 minutes. And at the moment, the All Blacks have taken the play to the Wallabies.
Brooke Cowden at the back for the All Blacks. Simon Poidevin, number 6. That's pretty indecisive. Grabbed though by Poidevin. Good driving on him by Ross Reynolds, but it was knocked forward by the Australians. So here's a good attacking position for the All Blacks. 15 metres infield and a couple of metres out from the 22. Once again, the big shove from the Australians, but the All Black scrum holding this time much better. They need to release it perhaps a little quicker. Brewer away to Boddicker. Missing out Stone. Here's John Kerwin. The All Blacks will use him a lot today, I'm sure. 10 metres out from the 22. All Blacks piling over the top and gaining the penalty. Australia it was who came over the top. And so a scoring opportunity here for the All Blacks.
Into the southerly, though, there's no easy kicks, and this is out about 35 metres for Greg Cooper, even though you can see there right in front. It's going to really hang up there, but as that great commentator Winston McCarthy used to say, a well-hit golf ball, the wind never bothers it.
Greg Cooper with 8 points, of course, in his first Test match in Christchurch. It doesn't look a long way out as John Kerwin and Arthur Stone discuss tactics, but it is a long way out, certainly with this very strong southerly blowing down the ground. Greg Cooper pulled it away to the left, so no goal for Greg Cooper. The Australians breathe again. 7 minutes gone in the Test match, still no score. Quick restart from lineup. John Kerwin has weighted back, ball bouncing high. Ground condition quite firm, in fact, as Kerwin's away. Towards halfway, John Kerwin. Now the All Blacks need to win the secondary phase. They're not going to do it though. Far Jones. He's got support here from Lawton and Steve Tyman. Infield to Rodriguez, just out from the 22, and it was Brett Patworth who knocked it on.
Well, amazing. That was a 2-on-1 overlap for the Australians, and Tom Lawton just passed the ball straight out. What an error.
I think Tom Lawton probably thought he had a faster man outside him. In fact, he found that it was Steve Tyman, both forwards lurking out on the left. The scrum was just out from the 22. Brewer up to Kirk. John Kerwin once again in the play. In fact, he's been involved more, I think, today than he was in the Christchurch Test already. Brent Anderson went in quickly. Back to Boddicker. Haven't seen much of Frano Boddicker as yet. And he's driven a good touch finder into the southerly.
Just going back to John Kerwin having a run out of defence. That's what happens if you don't regroup, and Australia got the ball.
There's Brian McGrattan in the front of the lineup for the All Blacks. Brent Anderson further back, standing in fact about number 4. And the penalty as the All Blacks do a bit of pushing, and here's the moment of truth for the All Blacks as Liner steps forward, and the kick will be on about the 10-metre line in All Black territory.
First shot on here, right?
Michael Liner is about 1.5 meters out from the 10-meter mark, so it's a kick. You can see it there, the 10-meter mark. So it's a kick of about 45 meters on the ankle. But once he gets it high, the wind will do the rest. So we'll have to aim to the right of the goalpost and fade it around.
First penalty attempt for Liner. He's also dragged it away. So no goal to Michael Liner. Greg Cooper has earlier missed one. The score still 0-0 after 9 minutes.
He didn't quite aim it in the right place. He should have aimed it about probably 5 or 6 meters to the right of the right-hand upright. Perhaps that's a sighter, though. I hope Greg Cooper was watching it.
Frano Botica then with the restart from the 22. Holding up nicely for the All Blacks. Leaping high was Michael Spate. There it is for Kirk. Cross to Terry Wright. As one would expect, the Australians on attack. And in fact calling for a shortened line out here. All Blacks contesting well. Away goes Mike Brewer. All Blacks over the top of it nicely, and the Australians palpably offside. Harville it was, who was lying on the wrong side of the ruck. And a relieving penalty here for the All Blacks. Once again punched into the wind by Greg Cooper. The All Blacks have done well in the first 10 minutes. Australia haven't scored. And in a situation like this, with the wind strongly behind them and not too many points on the board, it could be possibly a panic situation later in the first half. Steve Cutler gaining that ball for the Australians. The pass from Farr Jones wasn't a good one. Liner panicked into a poor kick. Kerwin took it away nicely for the All Blacks. 10-metre line, set up well. Now Botica across to Stone. Chance for Terry Wright, having on Peter Grigg. Grigg's a big man. There it is again for the All Blacks. A huge pass by David Kirk. Joe Stanley back to Kerwin. The All Blacks using Kerwin a lot. Driving onto it was Fitzpatrick. 15 metres out from the 22. There it is for Farr Jones. Back to Campisi, but offside against the All Blacks.
I think I might have played the advantage if I'd been refereeing. Mr. Bevan blew his whistle very quickly, where the ball went right down to the other end of the field.
Well, John Kerwin really has been in the action. Only 12 minutes gone, and he's seen a lot of the ball out on the right wing side. Big kick from Michael Liner, and now Terry Wright got his hand to this. He'll have to run it out. Is he not going to find touch? Farr Jones. Could be dangerous here for the All Blacks. Attempted intercept. Here's Andrew Slack looking for the gap. No, it's Papworth in fact. David to Burke, he's in touch. The All Blacks making a mistake. Terry Wright it was out on the left wing side. Didn't find touch. And a good counter-attack from the Australians. Just 5 or 6 metres out now from the All Black line. Important line out here, defensive line out for the All Blacks. They really do need to gobble this possession up. Oh, lovely leap by Anderson in close. That's an important line-out win for the All Blacks. Kirk, and the referee was looking for some advantage, I think. He was signalling to the Australian backs that they were offside, but he's decided to stay with the line-out. Bill Kelcraft, one of the Australian reserves. Tom Lawton with the throw. Once again, untidy for Farr Jones. Brooke Cowden's been first man there. Botica. Campisi waiting on his own 10-metre line, and he knocked it on. Not always easy to handle when the ball has the wind behind it and is just drifting away from you.
But the tactics that can be seen from New Zealand playing into the wind, playing the short side, as Earl Curtin said, kicking the little chips ahead, putting the pressure on them. There's Brian Lahore. It was his tactics. They came from him.
The injured player for the All Blacks is Mike Brewer. Looks to be a hand injury. But a most encouraging start by the New Zealanders. We've had now about 14 minutes in the Test match, and there's no score.
Going back to the lineouts, of course, the tallness of the Australians is negated to a large extent by the wind in the first half, blowing the ball, if anything, towards New Zealand's side of the lineout. And we said during the week that the short lineouts would be a key, and we thought the Australians would play them because you can get away with much less obstruction when there's short lineouts.
The scrum was on just inside the 10-metre line in Australian territory. Good scrum by the All Blacks. Joe Stanley picked it up well. This is for Kerwin to run onto, but Ross Reynolds to come across. Good tactics by the All Blacks, though, keeping it low and near the touch lines. Sean Fitzpatrick. That's Ross Reynolds standing up very close at number 2, in fact right in front of the Australian lineup. Good leap by Spade. It was taken on the second take by McGrattan. The All Blacks controlling it in there, not making too much ground. There it is though. Bodicott to Stone. Stanley, strong Joe Stanley. 10 metres out from the 22. The All Blacks need this one. There's Brian McGrattan left on the ground after that line-out win by the All Blacks. He took it on the second take. We've had a good leap now from both of the new All Black locks, and a good strong run from 13 Joe Stanley. There he is.
There's a good break on the inside there. See the way that Stone just gives a little flick pass into Big Smoke and Joe, and away he goes, looking for someone to run into. Bang, there he goes, turning well in the tackle. See the way he turns his body towards the Australians, and the ball is supposedly just coming out as the referee blows his whistle.
Brian McGrattan is okay. Back into the All Black scrum he goes. Kirk. Brewer up to Kirk. Kirk, David Kirk in the gap. Tried to free it to Mike Brewer. Picked up now by Reynolds. Another penetrating run though by the All Blacks. This time it was David Kirk. The decoy was John Kerr when he went in field, and Kirk just carried on. About 16 minutes gone, no score on the game. The Australians will be worried about that. They've got the strong southerly. Once again, the line-out win for the All Blacks. Bodicott, Arthur Stone having a go. Powered into Papworth. There it is again. Now's the chance for the All Blacks. Kerwin to Brewer. This is Bodicott. Beautifully taken by David Kirk. The All Blacks carrying it on. Controlled, though, it would seem, by the Australians. 12 metres out, and Farr Jones gets his kick away. And a good clearance by Nick Farr Jones. But the All Blacks calling the tune. Brett Papworth, the man down, and Arthur Stone really powered into Papworth, and I think that might be the result.
He's not a very big boy, Brett Papworth, and when Arthur Stone is running flat out, he's rather difficult to tackle.
Plenty of strong words being spoken there, the Australian forwards gathering. Here's big Tom Lawton. Papworth is okay. So the line out on about the 10-metre line in Australian territory. Ross Reynolds again standing at the front. There's Brent Anderson, who won a very important line out a few moments ago down near the All Black line. That time it was Brewer, beautifully controlled by McGrattan, controlled by Borovich. The ruling was that Brian McGrath, when he placed it on the ground, it went forward. Not sure that was entirely true.
And once again, we have these problems with scrums. The IRB has tinkered with them so much. The so-called fine-tuning doesn't seem to have worked much.
Jones away to Liner, the inevitable kick from Michael Liner, driving it towards the corner flag, and that's a great kick by Liner. Judged it well. That was the first scrum feed of the match for the Australians, and Michael Liner took the opportunity to put the Australians to within 5 metres of the All Black line.
Another crucial line out for New Zealand. They've taken an 8-man line out. There's Kevin Borovich. Nick Farr-Jones, number 9.
And the referee's given a free kick against the All Blacks before the ball's even been put in.
I just sometimes wonder about penalties before the ball is even thrown in. It looks like the drop kick, though. They've got to have a drop kick. Farr-Jones, perhaps, to Liner.
Here's Liner with a drop kick. No, it's not. It's going to be a big high one. Oh, miles too far. Almost put it down to the basin reserve, Michael Liner.
Why not have a drop kick? Well, that's 2 decisions now in the first half that Australia have made that have gone really wrong. That pass from Tom Lawton, and now no drop kick.
We're over halfway through the first half now. Still no score. Frano Bottiger from the 22. Drove that one a little bit too hard into the arms of Poitevin. Nicely released to Farr-Jones. Liner. This is Brett Papworth, very good on his feet. Found Steve Tyneman there. 22-metre line. Taken away, though, by the All Blacks.
Good work from Sean Fitzpatrick then. He was the man that got the ball and turned it over, but to no avail because the Wallabies have got the put in. So this is a very important scrum. Only the second scrum that Australia have fed the ball to this half. They're in the middle of the field, so they've got all the options this time. As another scrum goes down, they're looking like drunken octopuses, the scrums today. Legs in all directions. There's the Australian backs have split, half and half.
Referee's not happy, though. Wants it put in again. David Campese has crept up on the right-hand side. Slowly through the channel. Now Farr-Jones. Oh, Nick Farr-Jones. Oh, someone just tapped him. Tapped ahead by Campese. Yes, David Campese it is. Try number 20 in Test rugby for David Campese.
And what an amazing player David Campese is. But Nick Farr-Jones made the break. He sold the dummy, just got flicked, and then there was Campese following up. Brewer couldn't get there, and Campese scores the try. He's an amazing player. From the end on, you'll see the way that Farr-Jones gives the dummy there, one, and then sees the gap. Joe Stanley just flicks him up, and then David Campese following up. Look at that. Gosh, he's a good footballer.
So it's taken 22 minutes for Australia to get on the scoreboard. Campese the try. So the conversion has been successful from Michael Liner, and that's the scoreline 23 minutes into the game.
So the All Blacks must now realise that they can't take dummies. They've got to take the man with the ball. And in the test against France, and so far today, they have tackled the man with the ball. But there they made that lapse, and they paid for it dearly with a 6-point try with that conversion by Michael Liner. And this will help the Australians, of course. They looked a bit nervous those first 20 minutes.
Greg Cooper in no real hurry to get play restarted. I'm sure that's part of the All Black tactic. This one's holding up. It's not going to go 10 metres, so we'll be back to halfway. Referee waiting for the advantage. Doesn't come to the Australians. And so a bad error there by Greg Cooper allows the Australians to have a scrum in the centre of halfway.
If that wind was stronger than Greg Cooper thought then.
Another chance here for the Australians. Far Jones to line up, driving it away. Might have hit this one a wee bit hard depending on the bounce. No, it bounced favourably. Greg Cooper. And on a very good kick from Cooper. Here's Papworth. Inside the 22. Flicked it to Steve Cutler. Controlled by Far Jones. Tom Lawton picks it up. And he knocked it on, I think, Tom Lawton. One or two elementary mistakes now being made by the All Blacks.
There's the Australian reserves all wrapped up as New Zealand feed the ball.
David Kirk. Not gaining a great deal of ground, but being absolutely certain the ball goes across the touchline. 6-0 the Australians lead. 25 minutes into the game, so a quarter of an hour to go till half-time. Campbell went high. Rodriguez got it finally. Now line up. Crossed to Slack. Took his eye off the ball, Andrew Slack, and knocked it on.
There's a double knock on there, so the referee had to come back for the first one by Slack. Played the advantage, but then the All Blacks knocked it on, so back we come to the scrum. We were talking about wins and points in. Is it 15 or 12-point win, do you reckon, bro?
I think it's got up since the game started. Could well be a 15-point win, this one. David Kirk across to Boddicker. And a good, strong kick into the southerly. By a 15-point win, we mean that the side playing with it really needs an advantage of 15 points at half-time. This line-out is 15 metres in All Black territory. The All Blacks have done pretty well in the line-outs, considering the height advantage the Australians have. Here's Papworth. He steps beautifully across to Greg. All Blacks tackling a little bit shoddy at the moment as Tyneman flicks it back in. Well handled by Slack. And played without the ball. Simon Poitevin put the tackle on Arthur Stone.
Well, Arthur Stone made up for the... he's coming up out of line, and when the backs come up, Arthur Stone then was 3 or 4 metres ahead of Joe Stanley. So the formation was crooked, and Papworth was able to beat him easily.
Greg Cooper, one penalty attempt for him, unsuccessful. 6-0 to Australia. About 13 minutes to go in the first half, and Borovic has come through offside. And Liner, no doubt, from 5 metres in All Black territory, will shoot for goal.
And this is actually an easier kick than the last one, because he's just got to actually kick it straight at the goals. The wind should do the rest. He shouldn't have to make much allowance at all for the wind.
Michael Liner from about 47 or 48 metres. Will certainly have the distance. And a fine kick by Liner. And Australia now starting to assert their superiority with the wind behind them. That's the score with about 12 minutes to go in the first half.
There's the big Millard stand there, and there's of course more people down below than there are up top. This is pretty windy up there and pretty cold too. But New Zealand now have other things on their mind than the crowd. They want the crowd behind them, but they're 9 points in arrears. And they've got to keep play inside the Australian half.
Greg Cooper's got to get this one 10 metres. He's going to do it with ease. Taken in by Simon Poitevin. Walks through a couple of the All Blacks. 15 metres out from the 22. The Australians have set it nicely for Far Jones. Back to Campisi. And once again, not looking for the touchline, David Campisi. Hits it down to Terry Wright. Right easily away from Campbell. Keeping it in play, Terry Wright. But once again, it's grabbed by Poitevin. 10-metre line in Australian territory. There it is again for Far Jones. Liner. Slight change of tactics this time. Lobbing it in behind. John Curwen read it well, though. Away to Cooper. Good counter-attacking here from the All Blacks, but it was a forward pass.
Well, the crowd didn't believe it, but the referee said it was forward. He's the sole judge, of course. Arthur Stone just got a bit of a knock. But good counter-attacking by John Curwen, Greg Cooper and Terry Wright away then. But at times, Grant, the All Blacks seem to be in a bit of disarray there. Worries me very much that. Because the Australians are very quick. There's the All Black back line, Joe Stanley and Arno Bodega, Greg Cooper, Terry Wright. Terry Wright, what would be called an all-rounder, I suppose, in cricket. He can kick. He had a tremendous debut for Auckland. He's a kicker. Michael Liner there and Brett Papworth.
Ross Turnbull and John Howard from the Australian Rugby Union.
Arthur Stone is okay, but now Brent Anderson's got across to receive some assistance. So a further delay. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Australia are ahead by 9 points to 0. Campese opened the scoring after 22 minutes with a try. There's the man who's making his test debut there on the far side of the scrum, Mark Harthill from the Gordon Club in Sydney. So the scrum is on the 10-metre line in All Black territory. Far Jones again to Liner, back to Papworth. Here's Campese, bit of room to move here, Campese. Fed Steve Cutler, but a big tackle put on Cutler and he lost it forward. The referee waiting for the advantage to the All Blacks. There it is for Boddicker. Arthur Stone sets it up nicely for Boddicker. Opening up here for the All Blacks. Ahead for Terry Wright. Bad luck for Terry Wright. And a great counter-attack, though, from the All Blacks.
A good play from Frodo Boddicker. The referee played the advantage, so kudos to all those players. And Terry Wright, perhaps he might have tried to pick it up instead of kicking it ahead at the last moment. But the All Blacks living off scraps now.
Once again, Kevin Borovich is through. Big drive from the All Black forwards. So the All Blacks have the scrum put in 18 metres out from the Australian line.
That's what they needed. Just a little bit of a confidence booster after Australia scored that try, kicked that penalty, 9 points in arrears. It'll give their confidence a great boost.
9-0 is the score. About 8 minutes to go in the first half.
Another scrum goes to ground. Just watch the scrum, the New Zealand scrum. You'll see Sean Fitzpatrick, number 2 there, the last man to get up. You see him tap his props back to signify when he wants the ball in. There goes the hand there.
Once again, the Australian scrum screwing around, driving over the top of the All Blacks, and they put it now to Australia. And I'm not sure that the Australian pack made any progress forward. Free kick against Far Jones. So the All Blacks will look here for a move, no doubt. Might be a little bit far away from the drop kick.
I think I'd have a charge up front, actually.
Discussion here between David Kirk and Greg Cooper. Simple as that. Greg Cooper just decides to kick for touch.
Looks a bit like that other game they played.
Bouncing around on the hands. Anderson takes it in for the All Blacks. There it is for Kirk. Has a go at the line. Brooke Cowden lost it forward though, Mark Brooke Cowden. Taken away by Far Jones. And the referee will play the knock-on by Mark Brooke Cowden. another injury break here. Concerned look on the face of Brian Lahore. I'm sure that he would like the All Blacks to hold the Australians to 9 points in the first half.
There's a lot of little niggling injuries coming out. David Kirk's the one that has got a knock on his knee. The All Blacks in the last couple of minutes have looked much better. As I said before, they looked a little bit of disarray just back there. Kirk's okay.
They're still receiving a little attention on the far side there, David Kirk. It'll be Australia's ball to this scrum. Right, here we go again, Far Jones. Big scrum from the All Blacks. Started to move Australia back. Back it goes to Campisi. And the big kick downfield by David Campisi. The man who scored the only try so far in the game. A little over 5 minutes to go in the first half. 9-0 Australia leads.
Change it. Come on. 9, 7,
Cowden trying to grab it in there for the All Blacks. Away it comes now. Boddicker to Stone. Drilled high into the southerly by Stone. Campisi waits. Judged it beautifully. And that wasn't easy for David Campisi to take. And he really extracted Australia from difficulty very well indeed. Mike Brewer goes to the back of the line out for the All Blacks. Bill Campbell has followed him back. So a couple of big men right at the back of this line out, which is 12 metres in Australian territory. Good tap by Anderson, got his hand to it. Good control here by the All Blacks, inching a couple of metres. There it is for Kirk to Boddicker. Stone. Cooper coming in, couldn't hold it though, knocked it forward. Reynolds picks it up for the Australians. Arthur Stone in there, trying to keep the ball away from the Australian back line. Now Liner. And that's going to be a pretty useful kick from Michael Liner. And indeed it is. It's found the line just 15 metres out from the All Blacks goal line.
Yet strangely enough, the Wallabies had an overlap on the outside there because Arthur Stone was caught in the maul and there was no one to replace him. Andy Earl tried to get out there, but there was a lot of gaps on the outside.
Another important line out here for the All Blacks. In fact, the lineouts at the moment favour the All Blacks by 7-5. Andy Earl got a hand to it. Taken away by Anderson again. He's having a very good test debut. Almost to the 22. And the penalty goes to New Zealand. Greg Cooper looking for the touchline. The All Blacks will be looking now for that whistle, which is 3 minutes away. That'll indicate half-time. 9-0 the lead. Good tape in close there by Timon for Australia. There it is for Far Jones. Away to line up. Poitevin taking it back towards the forwards. Still 15 metres out from the 22. Rodriguez took it away. Far Jones diving through as Fitzpatrick. Looked as though Far Jones lost it. Forward. Campisi. Harthill took it in. 5 metres out from the 22. There it is for Far Jones. Liner. Kicked it a bit far, I think, unless it bounces awkwardly. And over the dead ball line for a 22.
I don't think the Australians have actually worked out how strong that wind is yet. That one went right over the goal line. And there's another injury.
Could be Andy Earl, I think. In fact, I think it's, is it Andy Earl or Michael Spate?
Might be Michael Spate, actually.
So not much over a minute to go now in the first half. The All Blacks really have done extremely well in these conditions. The big crowd in the Millard stand. Be a crowd of a bit over 20,000, I think, possibly 25,000 here at the park this afternoon. Frano Boddicker from the 22. Holding up nicely in the breeze again. Through the legs, though, of Mike Brewer, was taken in by Brooke Cowden on the 22-metre line, All Black territory. Australia's put in.
And now with that clock ticking towards half-time, this is a very important scrum for New Zealand. And an even more important one for Australia, only 9 points ahead.
Bar Jones to line up, to slack. Campisi held. Here's Peter Grigg running on the left wing side on the 22-metre line. Knocked forward by the Australians. Good defence by the All Blacks.
Good support play from Australia too. Peter Grigg, the right winger, on the left-hand side there, taking the pass.
Big scrum required here by the All Blacks. They must hold. Australians pushing. Kirk. Just under a minute to go in the first half. Important here for the All Blacks that they don't allow the Australians to score before half-time. 9-0. Just 5 in the line-up for Australia. All the tall men are there. Here's Farr Jones. Plenty of room to move, Nick Farr Jones. Fired it back nicely for Cutler. Australia charging through 10 metres out. Farr Jones, very strong. Driving tackle by Brewer, though. Over the top go the All Blacks. Try to regain the possession. Almost foiled. Boddicker, he'll need to get his kick away quickly. He can't. And offside, though, against Australia.
Referee playing the advantage once again very well. He thought it might have been an advantage for Boddicker to run and get his kick away as he's closer to the touchline, but then he saw he was tackled, so he came back for the penalty for the offside.
So a relieving penalty here for the All Blacks, with time almost up in the first half. Still time to play, though. Derek Bevan has checked the watch. Lawton with the throw. Line-out win for the All Blacks. Now it's been taken away by the Australians. Farr Jones to line up. Here's a test for John Kerwin underneath it. Well taken by Kerwin, and the kick is not going to find touch. Oh, misunderstanding. Kerwin tried to scoop it up. Bad misunderstanding by the Australians. Still not half-time, though. Nick Farr Jones thought it was his ball. In fact, it's David Kirk. That's the halfway line. So just in All Black territory. Kirk will surely plug the blind side here. Support from Andy Earl. Brooke Cowden has it. Australia's ball to the scrum again. Still no whistle before half-time. Farr Jones just in Australian territory to line up. Papworth, here's the run from Campisi. Good tackle, Boddicker. Grigg. Here's Andrew Slack ranging wide. John Kerwin has stayed in field for the All Blacks. Now he needs support, Kerwin, just out from the 22. And over the top go the Australians.
And a hand there as well. A hand from Steve Cutler there. There's the crowd here at Wellington, all wrapped up against the cold. Familiar colours there.
Greg Cooper has the ball. And will need to find the touchline. Oh, he's not going to do it. Being kept in play, Farr Jones. Here's Grigg. Slack. Ross Reynolds still there. Play still alive, just out from the 22. There it is for the Australians. The line up. Ball bouncing loose. One or two knock-ons as Prano Bodega takes off for the All Blacks. Prano Bodega against David Campisi. Campisi, though's got the pace. Now the All Blacks will need to look for the touchline here as Poitevin closes quickly. Back to Cooper. And safely into touch from Greg Cooper. And is that half-time? Let's have a look. He's having a chat with Simon Poitevin. Still time to play.
We played 45 minutes and 11 seconds in the first half.
Brian McGrattan took it in. Prano Bodega, the All Blacks hanging on. And there it is, finally, the whistle for half-time from Derek Bevan. And the score at half-time here, Australia with a southerly wind behind them, lead the All Blacks by 9 points to 0. And we'll be back after this break.
The stage is set for a mighty battle. The earth will shake, the ground will rattle. It's social rugby at its best. Carter Holt plays the rest.
Timber arrive on time? Yeah, right on time. Lunchtime. Well, you chippies know that Carter Holt's for the trade, but I'll tell you what, today you guys are for it.
You could lose your best customer talking like that.
Who?
Me.
Come on, where else did you guys go, eh? Where else did you get the sort of service we give you day and night?
At lunchtime.
But wait, someone's missing. Their coach is anxious, their coach is hissing. They number just 14. John is nowhere to be seen.
Where's John? Not here yet.
The whistle goes, we find the gap, we win a penalty, take the tap. Carter Holt 14, Builders naught. It ain't easy with a player short.
I'm sure, eh? At least our service is more reliable than your players.
It's okay if I come on now?
Carter Holt, for the trade, or if you're serious about home improvement.
He's not in the trade.
But he is serious.
Hi, I'm John Davidson. Such was the success of the incredible Corolla that it became the biggest selling model in its very first year. Now, as other models move toward the technology of Corolla, Toyota moves away with the 1986 Corolla, featuring new refinements from Jan Beck and Chris Amon. And also, for the first time, the all-new twin-cam 16-valve Corolla Liftback GT. Incredible appointments include power steering, four-wheel disc brakes, and hand-sewn leather seats. The incredible 1986 Corolla range.
Go into many shops now, and you'll find some very special specials. Bargains that may not be around for too long. So if you've got plenty of cash, you're fine. But if you haven't... There again, if you have a bank card, you could take advantage of a special or two and reap the benefit. And also, enter the bank card $10,000 windfall competition. So if it's bargains and a cash prize you're after, bank card's the answer.
Only Cadbury Morrow gives you the goodness of milk, glucose, creamy caramel, and Cadbury Dairy Milk Chocolate.
Gotta have a Morrow, get more Morrow.
Morrow, more go for New Zealand's America's Cup Challenge.
Gotta have a Morrow, get more Morrow.
New Zealand's crew gets that extra energy from Cadbury Morrow, the great New Zealand energy bar for the Great New Zealand Challenge.
Get more Morrow.
Almost time, Sonia. Today's the day, Miss Sims.
Ooh, yes.
If you've waited for the day your outdated typewriter is updated, the waiting's over.
It's the brother.
With Brother, the very latest business technology is at your fingertips at a very competitive price. Brother Business Machines. The time is right to make the right decision.
Seeking new business opportunities? Turn to the key. NZI Financial Corporation. Your key to business banking and financial information. NZI Financial Corporation will call on you with individual advice. We are New Zealand's business banker, helping you secure the future. NZI Financial Corporation.
The second half underway here at Athletic Park. Australia leading at the break by 9 points to 0. The All Blacks with the advantage of the strong southerly at their backs in the second half. There it is for David Kirk. David Campisi is waiting a long way back. Now the Australians are not going to keep it inside their 22 either. Drilled across field by Campisi, straight to Cooper. Attacking opportunity here for the All Blacks. Mike Brewer took his eye off the ball as Brian McGrattan picks it up. Early chance in the second half for the All Blacks, but Mike Brewer, who got a perfectly good pass there from Greg Cooper, just took his eye off the ball at the wrong moment. The scrum right on halfway.
Well, it's very important for the All Blacks to score a try, score points very quickly in the second half, just to prove that they can do it with the win.
Away goes Far Jones to Liner, driving it hard into the southerly. Now Greg Cooper will probably let fly with a big kick. Oh, he's hit it out towards the centre of the field. Matthew Burke, 10-metre line, his own territory. Plenty of room to move. Can't get through Brooke Cowden's tackle. Over to Papworth. Now it's Far Jones to line up. Brewer missed the tackle. Away goes Steve Cutler. Australian keeping it alive on the 10-metre line in All Black territory. Far Jones can't find the support. There it is now from Harthill. Rodriguez has it again. Good continuation of play here by the Australians. Here's Tom Lawton. Good driving tackle on him though. And Far Jones finally with a kick forward. That's good play by the Australians. They kept the ball alive. And Colomedes has every right to look a little worried.
Good play, good support play by Australia. They just were there to support the ball carrier. And all this tour, Alan Jones, the coach, has been training his test side in mauling and supporting the ball carrier. Even in the Wednesday games when the dirt trackers, as they're called, were playing their games, Alan Jones was with the test team, practicing their mauling and they're supporting the ball carrier. And that was a tremendous example. The work that he's put in has not been wasted. And there's Alan Jones. You could see him with Alec Evans with his Welsh, his Scottish pom-pom hat on.
"20 metres out from the All Black line.
3, 4, 2, 4, 5.
Just a couple of minutes into the second half. Australia still leading 9 points to 0. Fitzpatrick. Taken in by the All Blacks. Let's see if they manage to retain possession. Back to Bodicott. Good clearing kick by Frano Bodicott. Play now 6 metres outside the 22. There's Big Bill Campbell. Standing at number 2 in the line out against Brent Anderson. Oh, Campbell got very high. Through comes Fitzpatrick though. Very, very quickly. All Blacks over the top of it. Now Bodicott. That's the tactics the All Blacks have to use. Campisi really scurrying. Kerwin coming up on David Campisi. And he's not finding the line. This is Frano Bodicott. Needs support now, Bodicott. And the Australians were offside. The kick from Campisi. The Australians were offside, so there'll be a penalty here to the All Blacks. They had an option. They could have taken the scrum from where Campisi kicked it, or the penalty where the ball landed, and that's exactly what they've done, and here's a chance for Greg Cooper.
And if he'd been watching Michael Liner in the first half, because it's just about the same place that Michael Liner kicked from, so he should have seen where the ball was started off on its path towards the goalpost. And I think I said that he didn't have to make much of a deviation. If he just aimed it straight at the post, not to the right or left, the wind would do the rest, and that's what Liner did. Let's have a look at Greg Cooper now. He's looking for some sand to build his little castle on.
Very important kick here for Cooper. If the All Blacks can get on the scoreboard in the first 5 minutes of the second half, it puts immense pressure on the Australians. Got it up high, Cooper. No, he's pulled it away to the left, so no goal. Campisi waiting for the All Blacks to come to him. Michael Spate is getting some assistance off to the side of the field. So the All Blacks only have 14 players on the field to play at the moment. Michael Liner with the restart. 5 metres out from the 22. Good ball for Far Jones. Back to Liner. He's not going to find touch. Liner. John Kerwin in after it. And Matthew Burke was across there. Burke and Kerwin had a great clash a couple of years ago when New South Wales played the All Blacks in Sydney. And the end result was that John Kerwin came home with a damaged shoulder. Good ball for the All Blacks this time. Boddicker. No, we have a penalty here against the All Blacks. It was rather a late call by Derek Bevan, but the penalty goes to Australia right on halfway. Much better kick from Michael Liner. Low and hard into the wind. So this line-out will form a couple of metres outside the 22 in All Black territory. Taken by Tyneman for the Australian side. Far Jones to Liner, trying the drop kick. Now this is going to hold up, and it could be a bit dangerous for the All Blacks. Cooper going back and finally gained control of it.
With this wind, kicks like that sometimes become up and unders. Greg Cooper, it wouldn't pop up for him.
6 minutes gone in the second half. Australia still lead 9-0. Attacking. Away goes Sean Fitzpatrick. Made a good 10 metres or so. Now the All Blacks need to get it for Kirk, offside against Ross Reynolds. Greg Cooper is 10 metres out from the 22. That's a huge kick by Cooper.
He looks happy about it too. But the All Blacks have to get those points on the board. Of course, it took the Australians 22 minutes to get their first points. And looking back at statistics, we have in 1977, the All Blacks led 9-0 against the Lions in 83 and won 9-0.
Good lead by Steve Cutler. That was an important line-out win for Australia. They're rolling it away now towards the 22. Simon Poitevin. Ball on the ground. Oh, where's Nick Farr-Jones? No one home there. Good play by Liner, though.
Going back to that test in 83, Grant, when the All Blacks led 9-0 against the Lions, that was a tremendous second half performance by the All Black forwards. And this is what the Australian forwards have to do in this second half.
6 metres in All Black territory. Fitzpatrick. Good jump by Brooke Cowden towards the back. And the All Blacks should gain the put in here. And indeed they have. The All Blacks scrum has done pretty well this afternoon. First scrum of the match looked a little ominous because the Australians pushed the All Blacks considerably. But generally speaking, the scrum has held well. Once again, the Australians going for the big shove. Held by the All Blacks. There it is for Kirk to Boddicker. Stanley. John Kerwin. Trying to go through Matthew Burke. He's away from a couple of them. There's Brooke Cowden. Always somewhere near the ball mark, Brooke Cowden. Wham, the All Blacks hit the ruck. I think David Kirk's caught up in there somewhere, so the new halfback is John Kerwin. Looking for some support and offside against the Australians.
Again, Mr. Bevan playing the advantage. It looked like the Australian was offside on the far side. He let it go again.
So at least Greg Cooper from a similar position to that which he missed about 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, the last one perhaps was a sighter.
This one high again, Cooper. So the All Blacks on the board after 11 minutes in the second half.
Well done, Greg Cooper. A good little nudge. Just had a little practice kick there as he ran back, very happy with himself. Now the Australians, they know what to do. They saw how the All Blacks did it in the first half, and they could do it in the second half. There might be a little bit of a niggle about some of those forwards who are looking a bit tired at the end of the first half.
Spate jumping in for the All Blacks. He knocked it forward. Papworth making ground for Australia, but the knock-on by Spate now.
The game has been played at rather a fast clip, considering the conditions and the wind blowing from the south. And the rain we've had, this game has actually been very fluid.
Big shove here from the All Blacks. Very good scrum, in fact. Now Far Jones to Liner. Oh, hit his own players, I think, Michael Liner. So that'll be accidentally offside.
The idea was right, but the execution was just a little bit astray from Michael Liner.
Well, free kick here against the All Blacks. So this is towards centre field. Back to Liner, going for the drop kick. Liner, he's hit it pretty strongly, and it's just away to the left.
Well, that didn't miss by much either. He hit it really well too, Michael Liner, then.
Greg Cooper with the 22 dropout, long one. Down to Slack, taking on Terry Wright and getting into trouble. Oh, he played it on the ground, Slack.
The knock on first, Grant, though. It looks like Terry Wright might be a bit injured there with his knee. A little bump on the knee. So the long kick-off from Greg Cooper paid dividends. Andrew Slack just slipping on this perhaps greasy ground now, because Wellington had a lot of rain yesterday and even Thursday night. There he is there, Andrew Slack, the captain, walking across to talk to his forwards.
David Kirk, 5 metres in Australian territory. Boddica's gone the blind side. Always got pace for Boddica. Has he got the support though? Brewer was there. Here's Kirk again. Good support here. Brooke Cowden. Back to Spate. Lost it forward, Michael Spate. Fine support play by the All Blacks.
Taking a leaf out of the Australian book, the All Blacks there, supporting the ball carrier, something they did so well at Lancaster Park a few weeks ago. And just bad luck for Michael Spate. He took the ball, he was tackled at the same time, and the ball went forward. Well, I think this All Black pack is actually getting better as the game goes on, Grant.
15 minutes gone in the second spell. Back to Liner. Not finding touch, Liner. Greg Cooper with a drop kick. Rather hurried it. It's a long way to those touch lines, and I think Michael Liner's finding that out in the second half. Australia led off the hook in the last couple of minutes. Michael Liner from the 22. 9-3 Australia leads. Spade took it in for the All Blacks. Controlled it well. They'll try and roll this away if they can. Australia frustrating that effort. There it is now for Kirk. Boddicker. Oh, left it behind Prano Boddicker. Offside. In centre field, Australia. Usually such a disciplined side, the Australians, now starting to make some fundamental mistakes.
Just over anxious, and Mr. Bevan has, I must admit, given the signals, saying to the players, back you go, back you go. He wants to give the backs of both sides a chance to run the ball. I'm very impressed with his refereeing today. There's Andrew Slack, and he doesn't sound as if he's, or look as if he's too happy either. He's laying down the law. Big Ross Reynolds there. But all eyes now on Greg Cooper.
Now just 3 points. 16 minutes gone in the second half.
That wind is making all the difference. So Greg Cooper, 3 kicks in the second half for 2 successes, a near miss. So Australia now have to get that ball up inside the All Blacks half.
Michael Liner. Good leap by Spate again. He's having a good first match for the All Blacks. Well controlled. Back to Boddicker. The All Blacks playing with some confidence now. First time he's ever played at Athletic Park, Prano Boddicker. Lining out 5 metres in Australian territory. Far Jones gets the ball, he gets Fitzpatrick, and what have we got? It's a penalty, and I think a punch was thrown. That was ruled by Derek Bevan, said that a punch was thrown. Liner from 5 metres inside his own territory. Simon Coyderman at the back of the line out there for Australia against Mark Brooke-Cowden, who's been very quick to the loose ball, far faster than any of the Australian forwards. Taken in by the Australians. There's Harhill having a run. Not much room for him, and now the All Blacks have been caught offside. The referee very strict regarding the offside law. Now Liner's on the 10-metre line. He's having a look towards the goalposts.
Well, it's not a bad idea actually, Grant, because it becomes an up and under. And I remember way back in 77 when Brian Williams had a kick at goal and Brad Johnson scored the try from the up and under. So yes, he has decided he will have a go. I don't think he's got the strength to do it, but if he hits it very well, that drop kick he hit a couple of minutes ago really went. So all things being equal, if he does get it right, and we all remember Pierre Belpreur in 1968, admittedly with the wind, but if they hit them well, who knows?
There's Tony Thorpe warming up for the All Blacks. Michael Spade has been limping. We saw a big bandage go onto his leg, so we may see Thorpe on the field shortly. Michael Liner from 45 metres into the wind. Hit it pretty well. It's holding up now, though, and taken by Cooper, who calls for the fair catch. Well, it was worth the try by Liner, but it was even beyond his distance today. And here's another big punt by Greg Cooper. And that graphically illustrates the intensity of the wind blowing down Athletic Park. Reese. Lovely taken there by Campbell this time for Australia. Not all the Australian forwards are there, they've hung off. Here's Campbell in the action again, looks for Steve Cutler. Almost to the 22. Far Jones again, Tom Lawton, he's got no one out there though, Lawton. Sets it well for Far Jones, line up, Papworth, Campese in. Chance for Burke, Matt Burke, fine try.
Australia's try to ring on number 11, Matthew Burke.
Beautiful play from Australia. Went the wrong way for a start, then quickly the other way. The long pass is what set it up, and into the line came Campese, and John Kirwan fell over trying to get to the ball, and Matthew Burke over for the try. From the end on, watch the long pass that set the try up. Here it comes there from Petworth, right across, missing out two men, and putting Campese into the clear. Greg Cooper couldn't take them both, and Matt Burke, once he saw that try line, it was all over, shut the gate.
So that gives the Australians a 7-point lead now. The All Blacks will have to score twice. We're just over halfway through the second half as a rain squall drives down Athletic Park. The Australians much happier now with their position. And Bill Campbell had a lot to do with that try. He was in the movement twice. Difficult kick here for lineup. No goal from Michael Liner, so we're 21 minutes in now to the, in fact we're 22 minutes into the second half, and Australia have that advantage. Now the onus very much back on the All Blacks.
And what a good try that was by Australia. They as you say, Grant, Bill Campbell did it twice. They went to the right, which is the wrong way, to Tom Lawton. Then they decided to go the right way, that long pass, and the try. So now New Zealand, what can you do?
Long kick-off by Greg Cooper, which will mean play will go back to the 22 for the restart. Terry Wright's been in the wars. So incidentally is his opposite number, Peter Grigg, both wearing head bandages. Liner. The dropouts have been good from Michael Liner, just far enough for the Australians. Controlled by the All Blacks this time. Hoydeven, and they look to be coming around the wrong side of the ruck. There it is finally for Kirk. Boddicker, Stone, floated out for Terry Wright. He's looking for support. Brooke Cowden might have lost it forward, the All Blacks, they did.
And they're trying to keep the ball alive, New Zealand, but just through over-anxiousness with the hands, just knocking it forward. Good play from Peter Grigg. He kept them coming towards him.
The scrum swirling around, comes rather too quickly for Far Jones. Liner though, cleverly got away by Liner as Brooke Cowden clipped his legs from under him. Now it's the turn of the All Blacks to get anxious. Not much over 15 minutes to go in the game, and Australia lead by 13-6. All Blacks coming through, stealing it away from the Australians. It was Spate who took it away. Kirk away to Boddicker. Still on his feet, Prano Boddicker. Sean Fitzpatrick, and the penalty. The referee was waiting for the advantage.
And that's the face of a worried man. Michael Liner just beat the gun there.
If Greg Cooper can manage this one, it'll be back to a 4-point margin. One really has to say, though, Graham, that try by the Australians was somewhat against the run of play. The All Blacks have played most of this second half in Australian territory.
Yes, it was, but no, all credit to the Australians for that try. It was a really tremendous try. It had everything going. Tremendous example of for youngsters. They saw that try again. But this is a crucial kick for Cooper.
Struck it well again and pulled it away to the left.
That wind again, just taking it away to the left. You've got to be ambitious and push it to the right of the posts. Both Michael Lynagh and Greg Cooper have not pushed it enough to the right.
Leaping high was Mike Brewer, took it in again for the All Blacks. Controlling it now, the All Blacks. Kirk to Boddicker, took it well. Stone to Boddicker. Oh, he just lost control of it, Frano Boddicker. It was a well-worked move.
Good play by Arthur Stone, keeping the ball high out of the tackle and flipping it over. And again, a bit of over-anxiousness.
And the ball's not even in. The front rows have collapsed, and a penalty has gone against the All Blacks. Derek Bevan ruling that the All Black front row has taken the Australians down. "13 minutes to go now. It's 13-6 to Australia. The line out is 5 metres in All Black territory. Tap by Anderson. Kirk away to Boddicker. John Kerwin coming through for the All Blacks. And he's been ruled offside. Now Kerwin was quite obviously behind Boddicker. I saw Kerwin in fact take off from well behind Boddicker. It's not the way that the referee saw it. Farr Jones in a bit of trouble. Managed to regain it though. Did well, Nick Farr Jones. There it is for Lynagh. Now he hasn't pushed that far enough, Lynagh. It's going to go backwards, in fact. Nobody wants it. Finally, it's Arthur Stone who takes it. Across to Boddicker. Chance for Terry Wright. Some pretty solid tackling in midfield, though, as Ryan McGrattan across to Boddicker. Tapped on the Australian side, Farr Jones. Cooper is back in good position though, and Cooper's kick is not going to find touch. Campisi, 5 metres inside his own territory. Dangerous man in these positions, David Campisi. Look at him go.
David Campisi, probably the most brilliant footballer in the world today. He can do everything.
2-8, 3-5.
11 minutes now for the All Blacks to breach that margin. It's 13-6. Ryan McGrattan goes after it for the All Blacks. Arthur Stone running into trouble. Delivered it nicely though to Kirk. Campisi on his own 10-metre line. Having Wright on. Good tackle this time from Terry Wright. Oh, ambitious stuff. And here's Joe Stanley. Chance for the All Blacks. Brooke Cowden.
Well, we're just saying Campisi, the most brilliant player in the world, and he did that. Good good thinking from Joe Stanley. He saw the pass coming and just was up so quickly, took the pass. He had to go on his own, but as he went down, he popped it up, and there was Brooke Cowden. And Brooke Cowden coming in closer to the post for the angle, scores the try.
Well, one really has to say a dreadful mistake by Campisi throwing that pass in field, but it's given the All Blacks the leeway they need. The conversion should go over, and there'll be 1 point in it with 10 minutes to go. In the test match.
Yes, it's really sort of chewing straws time now for both sides. Australia, although they're in the lead, are not sure at all of victory, what with that wind blowing down the field from the Cook Strait. But what are Australia going to do? They've got to try and spin it as much as they can.
Michael Liner from halfway. Pushed it a bit too far, Liner, or the All Blacks leaping high, couldn't grab it. Steve Cutler did, though. Far Jones away down the blind side. Far Jones had support from Burke. That's the way the Australians have got to go now in the last 10 minutes. Down the blind side, near the touchlines.
Nick Far Jones is having a tremendous game around the short side. He's always having a look to see where that flanker is and where the winger is. And on quite a few occasions he's had the little gap there.
21 metres from the All Blacks line. Big lead from Spate. One of the Australians came through though, stole it off the All Blacks. Far Jones is pointing to it, he can see it. Now line up. This could be dangerous. That's a good kick from Liner, holding up. Tap back on the Australian side. Still controlled though by the Australians. There it is, Far Jones, cross to Packworth. Oh, thumping tackle.
Brilliant tackle from Mike Brewer. He just took Papworth down there. This is the tackling we've expected from the All Blacks, taking it a step further from the test against France.
Still the Australians attacking though. 9 minutes to go. 13-12. Australia leads. Away go the Australians again. Far Jones, could be a drop kick possibly. No, Liner again. Repeating the tactic. Bouncing towards the Australians. Far Jones trying to control it. Cutler has it. All Blacks getting a chance to regroup here. Far Jones to Liner. Kicking for Burke. John Kerwin in there.
But I don't know whether that kicking is actually working. They might have to change the tactic again.
The match, though, being played in the wrong half of the field from the All Blacks' point of view. Time is ticking away. About 7 minutes to go.
I think if I'd been Michael Liner, I might have had a drop kick.
Fitzpatrick. All Blacks controlling this one. Fitzpatrick in there to lend a hand or a foot. Very slow progress and too slow for Derek Bevan.
Well, with only 7 minutes to go, the All Blacks have got to get down to the Australian half if they want to win. I think Australia must have a drop goal soon, just to get it out to that 4-point lead.
Once again, the scrum has collapsed. All assisting the Australians as time ticks by. The All Blacks have got to get rid of this one from inside their 22. And it'll be an All Black put-in again.
But what's Nick Frano Bottinger going to do? Is he going to kick it straight down the field, or is he going to try and find touch?
Once again, the scrum has collapsed.
There's Botica behind his goal line.
David Kirk it is with the kick straight though to Campese. He was in perfect position, David Campese. This one's going to come down about the 22-metre line. Taken in by Fitzpatrick for the All Blacks and offside against the Australians.
Yeah, they're in the 10-metre circle. They cannot be made onside by anybody. They cannot take part in the game. They've got to get out of the 10-metre circle regardless of whether David Campese is ahead of them. Once they're in the 10-metre circle, they are offside. So this is what the All Blacks wanted. And it looks like there's an injury to Sean Fitzpatrick, it looks like, who made that very good run up the sideline. His father, BBJ, the 53-54 All Black, and who used to set the crowd alight here when he played for Victoria University, that star-studded back line, a bit before your time, Grant, I think. And Fitzgerald and Fitzpatrick and Jardine and Bill Clark. And now his son, who's gone into the forwards instead of being a 5/8. Getting some attention there, Sean Fitzpatrick.
The All Blacks have it all in front of them. They've got 5 minutes to win this match. It's 13-12. This scrum is in centre field. It's a metre on the All Black side of halfway. Need a good scrum here, the All Blacks. They need to release it quickly. Brewer's in after it. Australians, though, read it well. Brewer needs to retain it. The All Blacks need to make a little bit of progress here. They've set it now for Kirk. Changes the direction. Botica, Arthur Stone. Botica doubling. Stanley. Could be a chance here for Terry Wright. Joe Stanley has to go alone. Now the race is on. And Campese will win the race.
And again, good play from Peter Greig. I think perhaps Joe Stanley might have tried to come in and field a bit, but Peter Greig has held off and held off and held off. And in the end, Joe Stanley had to kick.
Bit over 4 minutes to go now in the test. Great crowd support for the All Blacks. The line has pushed it too far. Spate took it in. David Kirk looks for the drop kick. Well to the right from David Kirk.
It's getting towards that time of drop kicks, all right. New Zealand have all the aces as far as the win goes for that department. The Australians have to get out of their half. They need a penalty.
Liner again from the 22. Once again, he's hit it too hard. Spate rising high. He's done very well with the kickoffs, Michael Spate. Now Kirk. The All Black backs have looked good today. This is going to jump into no man's land. Well read, though, by Campese. Terry Wright is after it. If you can see Greg Cooper, there could be a drop kick on here. Charged by Poitevin. Knocked on by Stanley. About 3 minutes to go now. Far Jones. Oh, he put it out on the full. Bad mistake by Nick Far Jones.
Still inside the Australian half. I don't know if it's drop kick time from out here.
The Australians will be conscious of giving away a penalty in this position. Good line-out win by the Australians. And the All Blacks have been penalised. There it is, 2 minutes to go.
Right kick, Noddy.
Well, you heard the call, great kick, Noddy. It's inside the All Blacks half, 13-12, 1 point in it. And Alan Jones, the Australian coach, knows all about one-pointers. They're usually against him when they're playing the All Blacks. This one could go in his way. It could go very much his way.
Concentration on the face of Brian McGrath. The All Blacks really need to win this line out. They're not going to, though. Rodriguez took it in. Hammered away downfield by Far Jones. Again out on the full. Still taking time though. Just over a minute to go. This line out right on halfway. The All Blacks need possession badly. McGrattan. Pretty tight in there.
So it's New Zealand's ball, it looks like. Derek Bevan looks as if he's enjoying himself.
David Kirk just in All Black territory. Away to Boddicker, to Stone. Stanley, well taken in centre field, Joe Stanley. Ball coming on the Australian side. The referee's disappeared, Derek Bevan. Totally disappeared.
He knows it's a joke. It's always a joke of referees that they get caught in scrums, but that wasn't a scrum. That was a full-blooded ball.
All Black ball again. Last chance possibly. Time up on the clock. Boddicker into Cooper. Support there from Andy Earl. All Blacks need it again, and the penalty goes against the All Blacks.
Well, these 4 penalties they've had against them in a row has really knocked it out of the All Blacks. And time is up on the clock. We've played just over 40 minutes of running time.
Michael Liner finding the line, the referee looking at the clock. Still time to go in the match. Just seconds. 13-12 to Australia. Line out possession again for the Australians. Liner changes the direction of play. John Kerwin, last chance for Kerwin. Running back towards the supporting players. The All Blacks will have to free it here for Kirk. There it is. Boddicker. Stanley took his eye off it. Frano Boddicker's in trouble. All Blacks going backwards. Just out from the All Black 22. Not coming out, and that's it. Australians have won it. Australia has won the first test by 13-12. They scored 2 tries to 1. David Campese and Matthew Burke were the try scorers. Liner kicked a penalty at a conversion, and the All Blacks all their points in the second half. 2 penalty goals by Greg Cooper, the try by Mark Brooke-Cowden, converted by Greg Cooper. 13-12 to Australia.
Yes, and they deserved their victory. They scored 2 tries to 1. I had these problems before the match. I thought the build-up was bad, and much as the Australians won, don't take anything away from the All Blacks. They tried their hearts out, and they could have won the game. A couple of passes went astray, over anxiousness, and so they missed. They didn't take their chances. But the Australians won, and they won deservedly, Grant.
So the disappointed All Blacks leave the field, and the victorious Australians leave the field. So they've got a hand on the Bledisloe Cup at least. 2 test matches to follow, of course. The second in Dunedin in 2 weeks' time, and the third and final in Auckland in 4 weeks' time. Very shortly we'll be heading under the stand to talk to the 2 skippers, Andrew Slack, the victorious Australian captain, and of course David Kirk, the losing All Black captain today. The Australians coming in there. There's Simon Poitevin. Peter Grigg took an early knock. Michael Liner, Alan Jones right there to welcome the troops. Mark Harthill had a good debut. There's John Kerwin, Andy Earl, Steve Cutler. We're still awaiting for the captain. Here's Andrew Slack. He's wanted straight past. We may miss on. Oh, here he is. So here's Andrew Slack. Let's go down now to Mark Leishman with the Australian skipper.
With me at the moment, Andrew Slack. Congratulations, a fine performance, but a close one.
Yeah, well, 13-12, you can't get much closer. I don't know if it was a fine performance, but it was good enough, and that'll suit us for today, but we'll go on from here.
Do you think there's a lot to improve on for the coming test?
Yes, I do.
What areas?
Well, it's a bit difficult to ask me as soon as I come off the field, but I don't think too many of us would be 100% happy with the way each individual played, so, you know, we'll all get better, I'm sure.
And what was conditions like out there? Was it pretty miserable?
No, it wasn't too bad. I mean, you know, it was a bit blowy, obviously, but the track was okay and the ball wasn't too heavy, so we can't be looking for excuses on that side of things.
At the moment, Andrew, you're going live to Australia. Any particular comments for those at home?
Oh, not really, except stick with us and we'll get better, I'm sure of that, and hopefully the next time there'll be half an hour to go and they'll be relaxed as opposed to all the way through till full time. But, you know, a win's a win is the way we're looking at it, and we'll go on from here.
That's the way the history books will read it.
That's right, yeah.
Andrew, there's a hot shower waiting, I believe.
Thank you.
So that's the Australian skipper, Andrew Slack, and very shortly we hope to get David Kirk for his comments on the game. A few weeks ago, of course, we saw the beaming smile of David Kirk after the All Blacks had beaten France, and I believe we have now David Kirk coming towards Mark Leishman areas.
David Kirk, commiserations, 1 point in it, but a good performance from the All Blacks?
Oh, we played well, yeah. That's a test match though, isn't it? I mean, a few mistakes, and that's it.
What were the problems out there, do you think?
Oh, I don't think either we can isolate anything in particular. A test match and two extremely evenly matched sides. You make handling errors at crucial times. Just a few mistakes. We felt the pressure a little bit at times, I think. That's what the test match is all about.
Was it greasy? The ball greasy? Hard to handle?
No, it wasn't too bad. I don't think that was really a problem.
So where to from here?
Dunedin.
And?
Well, I mean, 1 down in the 3-test series is 2 to win.
David Kirk, congratulations, commiserations, whatever. But
thanks, Mark.
Best luck for the second.
We'll take the next two.
We'll be coming back after the break, and we'll have highlights of the match today.
When you want a hatchback that's more than a city shopper, one name stands out. Holden Barina. Blue Ribbon Engineering and Reliability. Blue Ribbon Space, Comfort and Versatility. Blue Ribbon Economy with 1.3-litre highway performance. Blue Ribbon Barina. See it soon.
New Commodore is where you should invest your dollar. Smart new 2-litre Commodore costs less than Telstar GL, Mazda 626, Sigma, Corona or Accord. The cards also favour Commodore's 3.3-litre luxury models with optional fuel injection. New Commodores, the very affordable Europeans.
In 1950, Chicago businessman Frank McNamara conceived a master plan that changed the way the world paid its bills. The Diners Club card is an original that's often copied. Now, we're changing the way the world does business. The Diners Club business card system saves your company precious time and money. First in the world, and still the last word in credit cards. Diners Club International, the blueprint for all other credit cards.
Almost time, Sonia.
Today's the day, Miss Sims.
Ooh, yes.
If you've waited for the day your outdated typewriter is updated, the waiting's over.
It's the brother.
With Brother, the very latest business technology is at your fingertips at a very competitive price. Brother Business Machines. The time is right to make the right decision.
Social rugby at its best. Carter Holt lays the rest.
Carter Holt, for the trade, or if you're serious about home improvement.
He's not in the trade.
But he is serious.
A while ago, I made the promise that BNZ was going to make